Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying out the brand new Premier Parfait Plush yarn that I think is going to be an excellent Sweet Snuggles Lite dupe. I know they're coming back out with Sweet Snuggles Lite, but honestly, they broke my trust. I don't trust them anymore. I don't think especially as like a business owner, I need to have reliable yarn sources. So you broke my trust, Michaels. I'm sorry. I just don't trust you anymore. But I'm really excited to try this out. We also got the new Loops and Threads Demi Purl yarn, which I think is like brand new. I've never seen this before, and I mean, I am a frequent Michaels goer, so I think I would have seen this before if it's not new, but maybe it's just new to my Michaels. But I'm gonna try this one as well. This one is definitely more of a Bernat blanket feeling. It's more polyester yarn, and this one is definitely more of a chenille yarn. So I'm excited to see the difference and which one I like better. So first I wanted to compare the plush yarn, Premier Parfait Plush yarn, to the Sweet Snuggles Lite because I still have some. This is like some of the original Sweet Snuggles Lite that I still have, and then I actually bought one of the skeins of the really poor quality Sweet Snuggles Lite. It's like half the size of normal Sweet Snuggles Lite. I mean, you can see it's just a very different quality there, and so this is very similar to this. I would say that Premier Parfait Plush is a little less shiny than Sweet Snuggles Lite. I mean, you can kind of see it. This is a little bit more shiny than this, and I like that personally. I don't like my yarn being too shiny. I don't want it to blind anyone, okay? So they are about the same in like softness. I mean, obviously this one is less soft because it's the poor quality one. But like comparing these two, I would definitely say that Plush is a little bit softer actually. This is like soft, but this did just come from a factory. Like I just opened the box and this has been sitting on my shelf for a year basically, every time I need it. So that also might contribute to the fact that this one is softer, but yeah. And I don't have any of the like paper, I don't know what you call these. They're not tags per se, I don't know. But this is a super bulky, it says to use a 9mm hook, which I'm pretty sure that the Sweet Snuggles Lite brand tells you to use an 8mm hook. So there's a difference there, but honestly, I don't really listen to what the tags tell you to use because I think it really depends on what you're trying to make. That's what should determine the hook size you're using. But yeah, I'm excited to start using these. For my plushies and stuff like that, I use Bernat blanket, but I think that Bernat blanket is a little bit too thick and not soft enough for my scrunchies. And I've been trying to find a Sweet Snuggles Lite dupe for forever, ever since they stopped making it, because I like them for my scrunchies. So I'm going to make a few scrunchies with this, and I am going to see if I like it, and I'll let you know. And for the second thing that I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to use this to make one of my pumpkins that I have to make for my market videos, or for my market, not for the video. But this is a lot more like Bernat blanket. So here's an orange. You can kind of see the texture is about the same. It's more like fluffy than like soft. Although I will say, Bernat blanket has a lot of like varying in softness. Like there are some skeins of Bernat blanket that are incredibly soft, and I would like actually make a blanket out of it because it's so soft. And then there are skeins like this where it's like, yeah, it's like not scratchy, but it's not really soft per se. Like, I would say that this skein that I have is very soft, and comparing these two, they're like the same amount of softness. but the orange skein that I have is just not as soft. So that is something that I do have a complaint about Bernat blanket, is that they just aren't very consistent with their texture, and like the quality is all the same, like it's all the same thickness and it looks the same, so that's fine. But like the scratchier yarns are a little bit harder to work with, because if you're like me and you crochet for a long time, the scratchier yarn running over your finger over and over again can cause rug burn. And so it's much nicer to have a skein like this where it's like super soft and doesn't cause any rug burn at all. I'm excited to try this out with one of my plushies, because this is more of the texture of my plushies. So we're gonna be trying out 2 new yarns today, and I'm gonna let you know all the nitty gritty and if you should try them yourself. Before I actually get into the testing of the yarn, I did want to tell you all of the names of the colors that I got, just in case you want to get the same ones. So I got the French blue, this is lilac, evergreen, sage, mint, yellow, cotton candy, toffee, chocolate, and we have black, because that is by far the scrunchie I sell the most of. So I'm really excited to try these out, and I'm gonna make a scrunchie now. So I'm gonna make a pink scrunchie, and I've got it on my yarn holder spinning thing. And there are a couple of things that I'm gonna be looking out for. Just so you know, everything that you see in this video will be linked in my Amazon storefront if you want to check it out on the links in the description below. It really helps me out, so no pressure, but if you are looking for something like this, there's a link for it in the description. There are a couple of things that I'm looking for. I mean, if you've used Sweet Snuggles Lite, you know that it does like to, if you cut it, the ends of it will kind of like fall off. And like I never really had a problem with it fraying or anything like that, but I did have a problem with anytime I like cut the yarn, anything around where I cut would just like fall apart. So I am curious to see that, if that happens with this yarn, which I'm assuming that it will. I'm pretty sure it's not a Sweet Snuggles Lite problem. I'm pretty sure it's a chenille yarn problem that they can't really fix. So I was using Sweet Snuggles Lite for all of my plushies, but I ended up changing to Bernat blanket, not only because, see, it is falling off at the ends of where I cut it. It's falling off. See, there you go. I was changing it not only because of the fact that Sweet Snuggles Lite was being discontinued, but because of that thing exactly, is I hated having to pick up all of these yarn scraps. It was very annoying. So I am excited to see if this one changes, but so far it looks like it's not. But that's fine, because I'm not planning on switching my plushie yarn anytime soon. This is all for my scrunchies. Now I will say, something I missed a lot about Sweet Snuggles Lite was just how soft it is. It was incredibly soft to work with, and personally I think that that's kind of important whenever you're making scrunchies and things like that. And also it's just more fun to work with because you don't have rug burn like I was talking about earlier. So far I'm really liking how it's gliding over the hook. It's not really getting stuck at all. I think it's really soft, just like Sweet Snuggles Lite was, and I'm impressed overall. I am gonna finish making this scrunchie and I will show you what it looks like all done, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I just finished the scrunchie and I cut the end and they're getting little fuzzies. So I think it is just a chenille yarn thing, but nothing else is coming off of this end. So that's pretty good. Honestly, this feels like exactly how it felt working with Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn. It's incredibly soft. I haven't seen any factory knots yet, although I really haven't used much of the skein, so there is that. But I am going to use my electric winder to wind up the rest of the skein just to see if there are any factory knots in it, because if there's any factory knot haters in the world, it's me. So I'm gonna do that test to see how many, if there are any. Obviously, one skein is not gonna determine if there's actually a ton of factory knots in an entire thing of yarn, but it is nice to know. Now, I really like how this yarn bunches up. See, we are having the end kind of come apart a little bit. I don't know if you can see this. It's just coming off. Yeah. So, be warned if you get this yarn, the ends do kind of come apart a little bit. But I love how this scrunchie is bunching up. Like, it's perfect. Like, the way that I do it is I do single crochets around the middle of the band, and then I do treble crochets all around, and some of them I'll do 2 treble crochets in a stitch, and some of them I'll do 3 to really aid the ruffles, you know. But this is very pretty and huge, which is exactly how I like to make my scrunchies. So it is, I would say it's a very good Sweet Snuggles Lite dupe. But let's wind this to see how many factory knots are in it. We're gonna try to get a center pull here, but I will say there are a lot less colors in the Parfait Plush than there were Sweet Snuggles Lite, which makes complete sense. It literally just came out. But I haven't seen any updates on if they're going to be coming out with any more. I know the mint color and like a cream color and like an orange color were not originally in the like first drop of this yarn, but they came out very soon after. So I am hoping that that sets the tone for the rest of like color drops for this yarn. Goodness gracious. That would be lovely if we could get more colors going. There we go. Found it. Get more colors going for this, because I know a lot of people like to use this yarn for plushies and stuff like that. And if the color is very limited, the stocks of colors are very limited, it is hard to make a ton of plushies out of them. But so far I'm happy with the colors that they have. I think there's 16 colors right now. But yeah, let's start winding this to see, first of all, how much of yarn we've got that can actually fit into a cake. But second of all, to see if there's a ton of factory knots. I'm gonna have to kind of untangle this as I go, because the center pull I did was just not very good. And that's on me. But I'm sure if you do a good center pull, you won't have this problem getting all of it to go. Alright, I finally finished the unknotting process of the center. Ignore that little thing that's like flying around. That was me. That was not the factory. I had to cut some yarn because I don't even know how this happened, but I'm pretty sure that some of the yarn went through the like middle of the yarn, like not even the chenille part. So there was no untying that at all. But yeah, now it is winding, and I'm not seeing any factory knots. There are some tangles, but that's because of me. So complete user error is pretty high, and it's not breaking at all. I mean, whenever I was undoing the knots, it wasn't really like, I wasn't afraid I was gonna break it, so that's really good that it's strong and not easily breakable, because you don't want your plushies falling apart. Alright, so it's fully caked up. As you can see, I mean, minus the amount of yarn that it took to make this scrunchie, these cakes are actually pretty small. This is what about half of a Bernat blanket bowl will get you in a cake. So you get about half, a little bit more than half, with the Premier Parfait Plush skeins than you do with a Bernat blanket, and I'm pretty sure these skeins were $7.99 and the Bernat blanket ones are $12.99. So a couple of dollars more and you get almost twice the amount of yarn. Good to know. I just looked it up, and the new Sweet Snuggles Lite, I have no idea about the old one, but the new one, it comes with 200 meters of yarn, and it is $9.99. This is $7.99, and it comes with 160 meters, so 40 meters less, and it's $2 less. So overall, I think that the Premier Parfait Plush yarn is an excellent dupe for the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn. It feels the exact same. It's the exact same weight. There is 40 meters less of the Premier Parfait Plush yarn than there is of the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, but the price, it evens out. I mean, I could do the actual math, but it makes sense. And the colors are very, very cute. They do have less colors than Sweet Snuggles Lite, although right now Sweet Snuggles Lite has like barely any colors out, so it actually has more. But if Sweet Snuggles Lite comes out with all of the colors that they used to have, it will have less. But I'm hoping that the Premier Parfait Plush comes out with more colors. But I do think that the colors they have now is a really good variety, and definitely enough colors to get you started. If you're gonna make plushies with them, or scrunchies, or whatever you want to make with them, it will work out perfectly, I think. And I didn't see any factory knots in that one pink skein that I wound up. I'm gonna wind up the rest of them, but first I'm gonna crochet a pumpkin with the Demi Purl loops and threads yarn. So you're in luck. I actually just ordered some more Bernat blanket. So this is vintage white in Bernat blanket, and this is pumpkin spice, I think. I just took it off, so it's cinnamon stick. I was wrong. Cinnamon stick in the loops and threads Demi Purl. This one, the Demi Purl one, let's see where it says it, unless it doesn't say it. Well, it's a super bulky yarn. It recommends a 6.5 millimeter hook, and there we go. It's 152 yards or 139 meters, and the Demi Purl one is also $9.99 for 152 yards or 139 meters. The Bernat blanket one, this is $12.99, and it is 220 yards or 201 meters. So a little bit more yarn. It's like 60 more yards ish. 60 more yards of yarn in a Bernat blanket versus the Demi Purl. And you can see them side by side. This one's actually a little bit thicker, I think, than the Bernat blanket, so I'm curious to see how it works out differently than this one. It's strange to me that this one calls for an 8mm and this one calls for a 6.5, even though this one looks a lot thicker. Interesting. Okay, so I've started on the pumpkin, and as you can see, it's like almost exactly the same as Bernat blanket. It looks very, very similar. It definitely is a little bit thicker, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It works very, very similarly to Bernat blanket, and like, I don't know about you, but with fall markets and everything, I've been trying to find Bernat blanket in pumpkin spice for, I'm not kidding, 2 months. I've been checking the website, and not even like, I've been checking Michael's, I've been checking Yarn Inspirations, I've been checking Amazon. Nobody has it. Nobody has it. So Bernat, you need to fix that, because you would be taking all my money if you kept your colors in stock, but you never do. So if you can't find a color in Bernat blanket, I really don't think that getting Demi Purl would be an issue at all. I think it'll end up looking very similarly to what Bernat would look like. I mean, I have to like sew it so that it stays, but I think it's pretty cute. Yeah, it works exactly as Bernat blanket. I will wind it up and see if there are any factory knots in it, but so far looking at it, it looks good, and it's super soft, like on the softer side of Bernat, how I was talking earlier about how there's like a spectrum. Yeah, this is on the softer side, and it works very nicely. It doesn't hurt my hands at all to work with it. It's gliding very smoothly with everything else. Overall, I think this is a pretty good Bernat blanket substitute for colors that you can't find. Okay, so I just finished crocheting the pumpkin body. Okay, I don't know if you saw that, but I really want to see if this kind of comes apart at the end. A little, but definitely not as much as the Premier Parfait Plush. My pumpkin is all finished. So cute, little bud. This is definitely thicker than Bernat blanket. My pumpkins are a little bit smaller normally, but I kind of like them this size. They're really like cute, and I really love the color. It feels exactly like Bernat. I mean, you can kind of see the stitch difference with the stem, how big the stitches are versus these. It's definitely bigger than Bernat, but I don't think that it's not that big of a difference to where somebody who's not a crocheter would notice. You know what I mean? I mean, even if like I'm a crocheter, I don't even think I'd notice if I saw somebody selling plushies like this with 2 different sizes of yarn. I don't think I'd notice. Here's hoping that this center pull is better than the last one, because that was something, you know? That was something special. Oh. Oh. Did we find it first try? We did. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to wind this up and see if we get any factory knots. So far, there have been no factory knots. I will say this yarn is thick, and so the yarn winder is kind of confusing the yarn itself for knots, and as you can see is like pausing every few seconds because it's confused. But that's not because the yarn has knots or anything like that. It is completely fine. It's just very thick for my yarn winder, and I feel like if I had a bigger yarn winder, it wouldn't be doing this. Our first factory knot. It's here. I found it. Yeah, the pausing was definitely from the yarn. This thing like lurched when it found this thing. So yeah, 1 factory knot so far. Okay, so there was 1 factory knot in this cake, but this cake is definitely a lot bigger than the Premier Plush. Comparing it to the same white cake I compared to the Premier Plush, this is a lot more yarn, which makes sense, because that's what the package said it would be. So yeah, and this is with an entire pumpkin made gone from this. So it's definitely a very large cake, and I think it's beautiful. I love this color so much. Overall, I again really liked this yarn. I thought it was a perfect, well, not perfect, almost perfect match to Bernat blanket. It is a little bit bigger, but it's very hardly noticeable. It is soft, very soft, and I touched a lot of skeins in the Michaels yarn aisle, and they were all pretty much this soft. So I really like so far the consistency of softness that Bernat does not have, okay? And Michaels has not been known for keeping their shelves stocked either, so they're equal on that front as well. But they did have pumpkin spice, or cinnamon stick, as they like to call it, which is what I was looking for. I think if you're looking for a yarn that will take the place of Sweet Snuggles Lite or Bernat blanket, these are excellent dupes, and they're a little bit cheaper even though you get less yarn. I'm sure you can do the math and figure out if it's actually more bang for your buck, but I really like these. I will continue to use these for my scrunchies, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you found this review helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Let me know if there's anything else that you want me to review, crochet wise. I really would love an excuse to buy the clover hooks, so if you want to see me try them out, I could do that for you. Any other yarns that you want me to try out, I am totally down to try out for you guys and review. I try to be as honest as possible about how I actually feel, so if you would like to see me review more things, I am totally down. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!